Weather conditions greatly complicate offensive operations during the fall and winter. Fighters must adapt to constant changes, including new camouflage requirements, difficult movement across rugged terrain, and freezing temperatures. Despite the challenging conditions, the Ukrainian defenders demonstrated unbreakable resilience. They continued to hold their ground while simultaneously conducting offensive operations to liberate occupied territory. Here are some of the most impressive recent operations that stunned Russian forces. The K2 Battalion of the 54th Brigade released combat footage of a single infantry squad driving out an entire Russian squad of 6 soldiers. Their goal was to force the Ukrainian forces out of their positions and gain a foothold. The Russian troops began to settle in trenches and open fire on the Ukrainian positions. However, one fighter from the K2 Battalion decided to thwart their plan. In the footage, a soldier from the K2 Battalion rushes to the front line before he even has time to put on his body armor and helmet. Unexpectedly for the Russians, he approached them almost face-to-face and fired several shots. Surprised by his sudden appearance, the troops immediately retreated into the trench. The Russian troops single-handedly confronted 6 Russian soldiers moving toward the hiding place. At one point, Vadim was left alone with a soldier ordered to cover the retreat. The troops were shocked by the fierce resistance and attempted to flee. The Ukrainian UAV operator, supported by artillery, executed his mission flawlessly. The brave action of one of the Ukrainian fighters completely destroyed the enemy's attack plan. Elsewhere, Russian troops once again demonstrated how difficult an offensive operation can be when Ukrainian troops are at work. Enemy equipment was blown up one after another by mines, highlighting the expert placement of explosive barriers. A spectacular explosion severely damaged or completely destroyed Russian vehicles. Even an attempt to bypass a mined section of road failed, as Ukrainian sappers had anticipated this maneuver. Approximately 40% of the enemy equipment in this direction was destroyed by mines and explosive barriers. Fighters from the separate assault brigade continued to eliminate other enemy assault groups. Russian forces launched a massive attack, but the Ukrainian defenders quickly quelled the aggressors' momentum. The strikes hit the trees where the Russian troops were hiding. Moments later, FPV drones entered the battle and dropped bombs on the enemy positions. Attempts to maneuver through the trees did not save the troops. From the drones' highly accurate strikes, the Tvraya paratroopers once again defeated the Russian assault column in the Kursk direction. Following textbook tactics, the enemy armored vehicles were neutralized first, followed by the systematic elimination of the infantry. Russian troops continued to crawl across the ground, aware that they had been detected, but precise fire from Ukrainian forces left them no chance of retreating to safety. Video footage also shows a massive enemy attack involving armored vehicles and heavy artillery. The 109th Mountain Assault Battalion of the 10th Separate Mountain Assault Brigade absorbed the main force. Piles of destroyed Russian equipment testify to the Ukrainian forces' effectiveness. Tanks and armored vehicles offered no protection. Enemy vehicles were torn apart by precise FPV drone strikes. Within hours, the enemy was defeated, the position held, and not a single Ukrainian soldier from the battalion was injured. In another battle, a soldier from the 425th Skala Battalion destroyed an entire enemy assault force in the direction of Pisky, wounded several troops with grenades and eliminated others at close range. Troops of the 5th Separate Assault Brigade also successfully repelled an attack in the direction of Vuhledar. Russian troops attempted to advance through the trees, but the Ukrainian forces held their defenses firmly and confidently. Artillery crews and drone operators launched precise strikes, destroying enemy manpower and equipment. Each Russian attack was met with merciless fire. The Russian offensive in the Kursk region of the Russian Federation further demonstrated the heavy losses suffered during this operation. Units of the Russian 8th and 10th Marine Brigade clashed with the Ukrainian 95th Air Assault Brigade and were soundly defeated. With their vehicles destroyed, precision drone strikes neutralized the remaining infantry. Russian troops attempted to flee in damaged vehicles but were tracked and destroyed. Equipment exploded one after another as the enemy abandoned everything in panic. In just a few days of offensive operations, the enemy achieved nothing except the destruction of its own units, and much of the Russian troops' equipment was lost. Ukrainian paratroopers once again successfully thwarted attempts to resume the attack. As the invaders began to withdraw, artillery barrages struck both enemy groups sheltering in trenches. The attack was completely repulsed. In another dramatic episode, a National Guard fighter confronted 4 invaders. Through precise action and superior training, he eliminated 2 of the enemies. After throwing grenades into the trench and opening fire with a machine gun, a Ukrainian drone arrived to finish the job.